Hello everybody, Varun Talks. Welcome again. So in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to set up a free website using GitHub Pages. So a little bit of background about myself. I've been blogging since 2017, and I've used a bunch of different blogging platforms. So I started off with Blogger. I think that's like the right of way for every blogger. You start with Blogger, and then I went to WordPress. I was using WordPress for quite a while, and then I moved to Wix. I've used a lot of different website builders, and I feel like the only good free option out there which gives you complete control and completely customizable is GitHub Pages, and along with Jekyll. That's the only way that you can host it for free. I've done a lot of research, so just trust me on this. Don't waste your time on any more research. The only way you're going to be able to do it for free, and also from the perspective of a non-coder, I think that's the easiest and simplest way to do it. Why I wanted to why initially, I mean, I moved from WordPress to Wix to GitHub Pages. I'll give you a little bit of information on why I did that. So I was using WordPress is really good actually, but I think I was still paying for it, a lot of the setup use with server and stuff I had to depend on another friend, and he used to do the setup for me. And every time I wanted to make a change to the theme, I had to ping him out to be like, hey, dude, can you make this change for me? And I didn't like doing that, right? I wanted complete control. I wanted to be able to change stuff whenever I wanted to. So in case there were any technical difficulties, it felt like I was depending on somebody else. I didn't want that. And Blogger, it's very simplistic. So I think Blogger fell out of fashion for some time. That's why I stopped using Blogger. And then you have Wix. Wix was good. It was great. But then I became a full-time student, and I didn't want to pay for Wix every month. I was also looking for free options at the same time, and quite frankly, I don't know. Wix was good, but I think there was some problem. I forgot, but so I wanted to move to a free platform basically. And how I did that was through Jekyll. This is not going to be like a complete tutorial on how you can set up your website using GitHub Pages. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube. Those are really good. So that's not what this video is about. But this video is about a perspective of a non-coder and how I approached setting this up. And I also wanted to give you some tips on some of the mistakes that you can avoid. Right, what I did, I wasted a lot of time. I don't want you guys to waste all of the time. So here I'm just here to give you some tips on what you can do to make this process faster and easier. One thing, at first it might seem a little intimidating. You're like, oh shit, I have to learn coding, I have to learn Git, I have to learn GitHub Pages. It's actually not that intimidating. I think the first time I came across GitHub Pages was in 2019, and then I was like, no, this is too complex, I can't do it. And then I ended up putting it away for like 3 years, and until recently I just moved to GitHub Pages. So don't be intimidated. There are a lot of good tutorials on YouTube. One thing is, just straight away go to some tutorial on YouTube. I'll try to find a good one, but like don't read this website. I don't read these documentations. Like I spent a lot of time like just going through this documentation. I wasted a lot of time. I didn't know which where you have to put certain things. I didn't know which command to use. It was just a complete mess. Like no offense to Jekyll, but a lot of these documents and resources are geared towards developers, and it's not for non-coders. By far, the most useful tutorial was this one on YouTube by Giraffe Academy, and the person here gives a really good rundown of all of the features. Please go through each and every single video here, like in this playlist. Like, please, I'll just put a link to it. Go through all of these videos, and you'll be set on how you can set up your website. So then, and coming to the themes, right? Try to pick a theme which is simple. This is the default theme that comes with Jekyll. I was actually using a different theme previously, but I decided to start using a simpler theme because I wanted to make some changes, and I couldn't figure out how to do it in the previous theme. And again, I wasted a lot of time. Don't do that. Like, stick to a simple theme. It's okay with just starting off. Like, once you get more proficient, you can probably start looking at themes which are more complicated, or once you start getting comfortable with code, you can do all that. But to start off with, don't do that. Like, just use a simple theme, a theme that you completely understand and know how to make these changes. So learn a little bit of GitHub. Just go through these tutorials, and you should be on your way. And let me just show you how this looks like on Visual Studio Code, so that you have an idea of what to expect. Okay, we are into Visual Studio Code, and this is what it's going to look like when you first install your Jekyll theme. Don't worry too much about everything that's going on in each and every file. Like, we're not going to be using everything on a regular basis, right? Because whatever setup you do, it's a one-time setup, and Jekyll usually just gives you all of these files by itself. You don't have to go and manually create everything or code stuff. You'll be spending most of your time in the posts folder. So you can see all of these different posts that I've created, and you type it in a certain way called markdown. It's pretty easy, and I can also put a link in the description to a markdown converter. So what I do is I just type it in plain text and use the converter, and it just converts it to markdown. And there's a certain way of naming each and every file. Like, if once you put a certain post in the posts folder, you have to name it in a certain way. You can see the date followed by the title and the abbreviation .md. If you don't do this, the post is not going to show up on your blog. And I've broken my head like so many times wondering why this didn't show up, until I learned that okay, you have to name it in a certain way. So just remember that always. Any configuration that you're going to do, which is again going to be a one-time thing, is in the config.yml file, and the theme comes with its own title and email description and so on. So I just have to change a bit of it here. Most of the stuff here is pre-built. Don't worry, don't try to understand everything that's going on. That's a mistake I made. I wanted to understand everything. Don't do that. If you use a simple theme, it's going to be pretty easy to configure. I'm just using the default theme. I might change it after a while, but and if you know HTML or CSS, you can definitely try to customize. At first it seems like you're fixed, or you're set on like a single theme and you don't have much customizability, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to be making changes on your own. So yeah, I mean, you got to put in a little bit of effort here because it's free, but it's definitely not difficult, and it's definitely not something that you cannot do. You don't even need to know how to code to do this. Let me know in the comments if you have any doubts on setting this up. Yep, that's about it for this video. And please like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any ideas or topics for future videos. I'm just starting out, so trying to see what I can do. Thank you.